I always forget I have gum.
We're live.
This meeting is called to order. It is November 5th, 2021. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The little tiny Christmas tree on the flag.
Kind of early.
Oh, thank you, Amanda.
Oh, there we go.
I love that.
We were looking at that.
We were, yeah.
We were looking at that. How did we miss that?
I don't know. Force of habit. I went to where we were and looked straight at it.
I was wondering why she was laughing.
I think it was in there.
Thank you, Amanda, for showing us the large flag.
I do apologize.
So it's a Friday. So has anyone had time to look at the meeting minutes?
Yes, I make a motion to approve the minutes as written
All
from
right.
the November 2nd meeting.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The meeting minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is the annual school election, November 2nd, the preliminary review of provisional ballots.
Right. In front of you is the spreadsheet of the provisional ballots. The first one is the early vote provisional ballots. The second spreadsheet are the ones from election day. There are a total of 21. 2 of them are not on this spreadsheet because they came back in the ballot-only envelope and not in a provisional envelope, so we have no idea who voted those ballots. So we can't do anything with those. So
Okay.
obviously those names aren't on the list because we don't know who they are. Of the 19 remaining, 10 were recommended to be counted by the clerk's office, and they notated what their reason was in the clerk's explanation field. Of the 9 recommended to not count, 6 are for not providing photo ID, as of yet anyway. They have until Monday at noon to provide that ID. They can go to the clerk's office or to our office. The 3 others that were not recommended to not be counted are 2 for not being a registered voter, and 1 person voted at the wrong polling location.
So are we doing the early vote people first, or did you kind of?
I just have them on separate spreadsheets, but
Okay.
the total numbers, I just totaled them all together. But
So when's the deadline to return with the ID?
that is Monday at noon.
And letters or notification
The,
have been sent to these?
These people will receive notification the day they voted, because they voted in person.
Okay.
Mhm.
Interesting first name, first one on the list.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What?
On the other.
On the election day list.
Okay, so the clerk's explanation for 2 of these on the early voting sheet presented photo ID at the clerk's office, so they're to be counted, right? Yes. Three
Yes,
yeses on that
on
sheet.
the early vote sheet,
Mhm.
yes. 1 person showed up at the clerk's office, another individual showed up here before I actually sent the list over, so I went ahead and documented it on the list so that.
But the 2 at the top with no ID
Right.
still haven't.
Still have not showed up with ID, that's
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
And what's the situation with the last one on the early vote sheet?
The express poll book indicated that that person requested an absentee ballot, but that person did not return their absentee ballot to the clerk's office.
That it had never been returned.
Right.
Let me ask a stupid question. And it's probably just a stupid question, and I've just forgotten or something with all these elections. Is there a reason that we do a review before the deadline?
I believe that it's pointed out in the law. I believe, there's a
Is there a reason that we do a
preliminary review.
duplication of effort?
Yeah,
I need to-
Let's check that.
I'll check that out.
Because I'm not sure either.
Because it
We
seems
don't-
odd.
Mhm.
We don't typically send notice to them letting them know one way or the other until you do the preliminary review.
Is that the reason for the
And
review?
I believe that might be the reason for
Mhm.
the review. That way we can notify the ones that
So
You-
they
I
can
believe
show
it's-
up,
so they
so
can
they
show
can show
up
up on
in the
Monday.
law.
So they can
or
show,
show up
Monday.
on next Friday at the final hearing. Because if they don't know that their ballot has been counted, then they show up at the meeting thinking that they need to persuade you.
I mean, for the no ID.
On the no ID, they were notified on the day of that they have till Monday.
Right.
So I don't know why we have to do a preliminary review on those, but for the other people, they need to know one way or the other, is it going to be counted or not, so we can let them
And then
know.
they
So they
can
know for
show
sure
up
to show up.
Monday.
I think that is
Say-
correct.
I
think that is
remember it
in the
Say
law.
that
being-
again. Say that differently. Say that again.
So for the people who did not provide ID, all of these people were given notice at the polls
Right.
that you can show up to the final provisional hearing.
Right.
But the ones who we are going to recommend yes, and if you do in your review say that you agree with the clerk's finding, then we will send them a letter letting them know their provisional ballot will count, so they won't show up at the final provisional hearing, because there's no need for them to show up.
Because when you vote a provisional ballot, you have the notice. You get a notice when you vote that tells you when the final hearing will be. So they can show up whether it's no ID or whatever.
Okay.
See, and so they can show up either way. And so when you do the preliminary, we send out notices, and the ones that did receive yes, your vote counted, they won't show up because their
They won't show
vote.
up.
But that's
but-
on Monday.
But the others,
That's
no.
for just the no ID.
I know,
The
but
final hearing's next Friday.
next Friday. Okay.
So these people need to know, the ones who you say, yes, I agree with that
'Cause we'll mail
recommendation.
notices.
So we don't meet on Monday, but
No,
that's just.
no.
That's
No.
when they have.
Okay.
To bring their ID. But these other people who don't need to bring ID, they just need to know whether or not you're going to recommend it be counted or not, so they can show up or not.
At
the
your
final
meeting, at the final hearing, because even they may be upset or not,
You know, the
'Cause-
clerk's office
'cause they
may say
re-
they're not registered, but they have proof they are.
we've sent the notice out to them telling them, no, you're after this meeting. So they'll know, and if they're like, well, why didn't they count it still? And they want to show up to the meeting,
Okay.
they still can.
Okay.
So it's not only for no ID, it's for any
Yeah,
of them
there's
that haven't been
And
counted.
that
Right.
10-day thing.
That's what I think.
The allowable.
Do they get enough time that they still don't show up? It seemed like last year they still showed up.
Because
Even
we
though they
didn't
had been
have-
notified.
Because we had thousands of them, and we didn't have time to
Right,
get them all
not
out in
enough
that
time.
short time period.
So I was trying to think, and then there was so much confusion because you're reviewing some, and then okay. Thank you. That makes sense. I was just making sure we weren't duplicating efforts and then confusing our
Right.
numbers.
Right, so,
Okay.
the clerk will give us their recommendation, we'll send letters to the people based on that recommendation. So if it's gonna be counted, they know not to show up. If it's not gonna be counted, they wanna argue about it, they can show up.
Okay.
Now, the no IDs, there's no reason for them to show up on Friday because they only have till Monday to bring the ID. They
Right.
can't come Friday and show you an ID.
Okay.
Now, has anything changed used to when they would say yes, that these are going to count? We went ahead and added them to the total and still posted them, the unofficial total.
Correct.
We didn't wait until the last day, so. The
We-
ones that are getting counted.
The ones that are getting counted will
We
be
add them to-
tabulated next Friday.
Oh, okay, so we wait until the
Yes,
end,
we
okay.
wait.
With any authorized.
And then they will
Overseas.
certify that in the official results.
Okay,
And that Friday's
that's better.
That's the
The day we
certification day.
certify and-
Right, and do the final.
That's
and check
better
for
anyway.
the overseas and military ballots that
Right,
may be eligible.
right.
Did we ever figure out what our overseas? Well, I'll get to that in a minute. Okay. So what's our total numbers?
So the total is 21, but like I said, the 2 can't be put on here because we don't know who they are. So there's 19 total here on the spreadsheet.
What's the total yes recommendation?
10 are recommended yes.
So that's the only number that we are looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So two of the yeses on the early vote look very simple. They presented their photo ID, right?
Right.
I'm still unclear why the third one, or the last one on the early vote, has a yes recommendation.
Because they, on the early vote, because it said they're an absentee voter, but they never returned the absentee vote.
Oh, okay, got you.
Right.
But they did vote in person.
They vote in person,
Okay,
but
I'm
they
with you
never
now.
returned the
Now I'm
ballot.
with it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's just a curious question.
Yeah.
The Saline County voters that
Mhm.
are in in the Pulaski County Special School District, wonder why they were not allowed to vote
Yeah, with that,
regular ballot.
I got some issue
Failure.
calls about that too.
Failure to follow written instructions.
Yes.
At the poll.
We had some
Okay.
issues
Yeah,
with
we
them
had
telling them they weren't allowed to vote.
Okay, and that's been addressed.
It will be.
Yeah. Yeah, we had some problems there.
And it's even little things like that it helps to be able to cover in training in
Do
person.
we not have
so.
anybody from the clerk's office here?
Mm.
Because it's, okay.
Is there one we need to check?
The third yes on the election
Second
day.
page?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at too.
I'd like to have a little discussion about that so I can understand.
Yeah, because the explanation doesn't match the,
Said it already voted,
yeah, and then it says, doesn't match.
signature and central.
Well, it indicated on the express poll book that that individual had already voted.
And then they're
The
saying that it
clerk's
didn't
office
match.
looked at the signature that they signed, that whoever voted signed under that person's name, and that signature did not match this registered voter's signature. So the
Is it
clerk's
different
office,
name?
But we'd like to
I
see
don't
it.
know. See the signature that's in Central Point? I can't log into
It's
that
a
election,
recommendation.
So are you saying that maybe
We can always pull it.
at another time or place, the poll workers pulled up the wrong name
They pulled up the wrong
and had the voter
name.
sign?
Right, they pulled up this voter's name, someone else signed it. It was
a
not
different name,
him.
not just that it didn't match, it was another voter that voted.
Different name
They signed
altogether.
on the wrong line. They've done that in the poll, even the paper poll books.
Mhm.
It doesn't
When
say
they-
that. It says signature doesn't
I
match.
know, and that,
That's why, where's the?
it should say, it should kind of clarify that, if that's what it was.
That's what I'm understanding it to be, that signature did not
We
match
can
this
verify.
voter, so that they determined that wasn't that voter that voted because the signatures did not match.
And then they look up that voter's
They
name from
looked
their
at the voter's
signature.
signature and compared it with the signature that was signed on the poll book.
but
Typically, when I
hadn't-
filled out these, I would have said it was a different name on the signature,
No, not just it didn't.
Right.
right? To make it clear. But the signature doesn't match, sounds like it just didn't look like it was a comparison of a signature.
Yeah, I think it's poor choice.
Very
I think it's poor
different.
choice of wording.
Yeah, it's not a good
It-
explanation.
Right.
That's not a good explanation.
Is that a yes one?
I'm surprised
Yeah,
they're not
that's
here.
our yes one.
Because it's probably still.
Because it's not that voter's signature, but they didn't clarify that in the statement.
I wonder if they make a motion.
Could we get them to update their reason, their explanation?
Yes, we can get them to update the reason.
Okay.
Well, we can authorize all of these yeses except that
But it's
one
a
for
different
additional
name.
clarification,
Then,
because we won't deal with it until next Friday
your motion.
anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
if
it's
it's a
just a
different name,
review.
then count it, but if it's just a mismatch, you guys wanna.
It's a preliminary review. Yeah, I want them to get more information on that.
Can I make a motion to?
Yeah.
So, I make a motion that we authorize the counting of the provisional
9.
ballots 9 and hold out on the one with the unclear
Do you want to speak the
explanation.
name
Or you can give the number.
or the number, voter ID number, either one?
1657536. It's confusing to us. What happened? We need some clarification.
Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Thank you. Finish room. Yeah, I'm gonna put on here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Information needed.
And you'll notify the clerk's office.
Yes. we will.
Check in with them.
There's a front page.
We can't mail them anything, there's no determination made. You can't let them know either way.
That's why typically the clerk's office person will be here today. It's a long piece.
Had to make it all fit on one piece.
Yes. And not be like 6.25.
Exactly. I like to be able to read it as well.
All right. Other business?
So we do have other business. One is is it regards to the electronic poll books.
Okay.
So when we delivered the equipment, we had some of the polling locations, due to the elections being together, were delivered two separate, we had this equipment with this poll book and equipment that was the second for the 9th election, another set. They were clearly labeled, bright tape, November 2nd, November 9th, the poll books were. In two places, just starting out in the morning, some of the poll workers accidentally grabbed the wrong books. So, and one of them was Highland Valley, and they recorded 16 votes in the 9th election. And then the other was Greater Christ Temple Pentecostal, and they recorded 13 in the 9th
Hold on
election.
a second. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm still confused how they would possibly grab the wrong one.
Because there's
We have no idea.
two poll books, and
I
then
know, but it's not their location.
so it happened.
But how would they get it? Where would they get it from?
They were delivered both sets of equipment for both elections because they were so close together.
There,
At the same time, the same day? Okay.
So,
And these are election day polling places.
yes. So they were delivered the November 2nd voting equipment, the November 9th voting equipment. That morning, they opened up the November 2nd voting equipment, but went over and grabbed the November 9th poll books and pulled those out, set those up, voted these people, and realized they were using the wrong poll book, put those away, grabbed the November 2nd, and used that for the remainder of the day.
Did they tell anybody?
yes,
Okay.
this is
Yes.
this is where we're at. So
Okay.
normally, so we discovered this, and so we also had to call ES&S because it's not normal to have two elections running at one time. So they worked with Jody. Jody pulled the votes off of the November 9th so that, pulled the voting credits
Yeah.
off the November 9th, and sent the clerk's office a list of these voters, these 29 voters, so
Okay.
they can credit it
Right,
to the
right.
to the right election. And
Right.
it's pulled out of Central Point. It lists the voters, everything. The clerk's office would like for the commissioners for the board to make a formal request for them to credit these voters that actually voted in the November 2nd election, but it shows on we pulled them off the November 9th book. It's the same as if you had two paper books. Say we set a set of paper books over here, and there's another set over here, different color, labeled them, and the poll workers grabbed the wrong paper book. I mean, it's just paper. But when we turned that in, the clerk's office would like for us to have you guys make a formal request, to have the board make a formal request to credit the 29 voters that have voted in the second election.
So
I'm not
it's-
following.
How was they able to vote?
Yeah, quick. This is kind of bizarre.
I'm not following.
Yeah. So, is it recorded in the VR system now
No.
that they voted in the wrong election?
No.
It's not there.
No.
it
No,
was
because you
pulled
can't
out.
even do the 9th. I mean, the 9th they haven't posted voting credits for the 9th.
Okay.
So what it is because they did that on the 9th, we corrected the issue with the ES&S. We gave the list of voters that voted in the second election to the clerk's office
So they
to
could credit
credit
So they could
the
credit
vote,
them, but
to
they
make
want
it correct.
permission from you to do it.
To do their job.
How did they have the
That's
right
exactly what
ballot?
I said.
I don't
Did they have the
understand.
correct
Oh, yeah,
ballot?
yeah.
They had the correct ballot.
It's just the poll book.
They
It's
were
Okay.
where,
credited
There
in
was
the
only
wrong
one ballot.
election.
Oh, that's right. So they were.
yeah, that election, it wasn't even,
They want permission from us to save the correct date to the correct
they want a
voter.
formal request.
That's not our statutory
No, I don't
duty.
think so.
We can't. That's not our that's literally, I mean,
Right.
that's not our statutory duty.
No.
Right.
That's the voter registration, poll books, it's their side.
Well,
We secure the poll books, but we're not responsible for the uploading of the data.
Were they did anybody?
Go ahead, Amanda.
we have been doing that. Apparently, there was an agreement with their office and the previous
Excuse
administration
me?
here that we've been doing the poll books this whole time.
What?
Yes, we've been requesting the data, we've been approving the data, we've been loading the poll books with the data.
And when I stepped
They haven't been doing any of it.
And when I stepped into these two elections that were already going on, that was the first question that I had. But we needed to go ahead and get through the two.
Hold on a second.
Mhm.
Are you telling me that the previous people, the males,
Yes.
had access to their system?
That's
They apparently
Wow.
made an agreement with the clerk's office that we would take over complete, full responsibility of the poll books.
and take.
They can't make that agreement. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine.
But they can't make that agreement on our behalf. There is no agreement. They're not here. And the board, I'm not saying this to you in a rude way. I
Oh,
hope you
no.
don't think that.
Oh, no.
No, the board has never made an agreement like that, and we wouldn't, because that segregation of duties is very important. And we're not gonna encroach on their duty, because at the end of the day, if we screwed up that, they don't want us screwing up their job, and then
Right.
they haven't been held accountable for that.
Right. I did express that to the previous,
We're trying to protect
People-
them as well, just saying.
that we
Right.
shouldn't be handling the voter registration data. We shouldn't be testing
Absolutely
their data.
not.
We shouldn't be signing off on their data, approving that everything's correct. But we have been doing that since we received the poll books last year in 2020.
Well, we are not going
Yeah.
to do.
And we
I
have
don't-
full custody
I don't think
of
we
the
need a
poll
motion,
books.
but if you like.
So you have
stored
full
in-
custody of the
They're
poll
stored
books?
in our warehouse
That's since you got them from the
since we
beginning.
got them from the beginning in 2020, yes.
But
They don't.
but they. That's very troubling.
We're not making a request. Because it's not our job to do that, and we can't. Period. I'm sorry that that happened. I'm glad that we got the information to them so that they could save credit the voters for that election. That's all that they need to do that. We can't dictate to them to do that. That's not in our.
That's not our job.
That's not our statutory duty as a board. And it's definitely not yours.
And so, and for the last few elections, I guess last year,
2020.
You received dumb poll books, or you had them anyway, and you guys had to, or someone on staff here, had to upload the data into the poll books.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes,
had
it's
full authorization into their system to make that happen.
Well, it's not necessarily from their system. There's a form you request the data from. It gets sent to ES&S. ES&S pulls the data from their system, gives it to us in a file. We download it on a thumb drive, load it onto a poll book, and test it for accuracy.
So
Sign off on it, and then they send us final data. Our staff loads every single poll book with the data.
it was.
Their staff does not
Were
do
they not
anything.
designed to be a function of the clerk? Is that not their purpose? Because they represent the paper poll book, right?
Correct.
What is?
We count the votes. That's why we're not in the voter registration system.
Yeah, right. But it's not our job, nor is it staff's job.
And it should never be. It can't. We can't cross over.
Can we, get some clarification from, maybe Adam and the Secretary of State's office as to how they manage, or how other counties manage their electronic poll books?
I think that's been part of the problem because there's not a defined process in place currently. I've been getting lots of calls regarding electronic poll books because, like, for example, I remember last year, which is interesting because a previous interim director said that I think there was they weren't cleared out prior to an election, and there was no process in place to clear them out, but that was blamed on the county clerk's office, not themselves.
County clerk doesn't do anything.
They're
with
not
the
doing it,
electronic
but from what I found out is that there is no process in place. There's no like LNA testing, right? There's no like testing. There's no, you can't 7 days prior or 30 days prior. There's no like dumping of data. There's no, you can't use this for 30 days. There's nothing like that when it comes to electronic poll books. So there's nothing in place currently. And
What do we need to do to square this away? That's what I want to know.
there's nothing we need to do is that we're not doing it.
That's what I mean.
We need to give them back all the electronic poll books and store them themselves.
We are responsible for the security of the electronic poll books when it's in our possession. That is
Just
it.
like the ballots that
Correct.
they bring and transfer to our possession.
Oh,
Well,
Or
the
the
books
paper
they
poll
bring,
books,
the
yeah.
paper poll books.
Correct,
We would sign off on that
and that is it.
receipt, always.
And that's
But
it.
they were ready to go and be used.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So
This is gonna.
we don't need a vote on this because it's not our.
Right.
It's not.
Make
No,
a
the answer is
formal
no.
request.
And it's also no that we are not doing that. And as no offense to you, but y'all can't make that decision. Sorry.
And this,
Getting
there's,
in the poll books.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and they need to make sure they're secure.
it's going to tell them that.
We'll let them know. So
It's
when I
wonderful
stepped
director who's
in,
gonna love to
when I stepped in a few weeks ago, that I was from voter registration. So we all worked
Yeah.
in voter,
We all
especially Christie.
understand.
And so I stepped in, but at this point, we have staffing, we have 2 elections going on, and we have to get this equipment out. We can't, and now they're still having to do the paper books and the other books. So I thought this is something to address after the election and get this sorted out, because we just need to figure out what's going on and why are we doing these. And so, but I was asked to, make the formal, to have you all make this formal request after Jody picks the
The formal
book,
request
so-
makes more sense to me now because
Yeah.
I thought that was a really strange thing.
Yeah.
But now it makes
That's
more
the-
sense
That's the reason behind it.
of the strange agreement. There's not any other agreements like that, are there?
Not that I'm aware of.
Could we dig after this, please?
Well, you can't, I mean, as far as an agreement, statutorily, you have to dig into it, and if it's not, you know, I still needed to, but I didn't want, we didn't want to affect this election
Right.
because it was already going. And-
It's just such a problem to me that we've had to take one of our full-time staff
The-
away from his other duties to
Mhm.
just get those.
The books are really, they're not made easy to load and stuff. And even on election day, it was taking, we have to go help them. You've
Right.
got to have MiFi, you have to
Mhm.
load it up, you have to, I mean,
Right.
it
So-
on election day, I thought our voting equipment is finally easier, and the poll books were
Mhm.
way harder
I mean,
than
these
the,
three were out pretty much the whole day.
and
going
phones are
around,
ringing, so.
And phones are ringing, and it's just the three of us left in the office to handle the phones because they're dealing with the poll books, not the clerk.
Could the clerk have, okay, the problems that occur with the poll books out in the field, what kind of problems were they? Just,
They weren't doing their smart updates. There's a
That's
smart
so-
update that has to be done in the morning to update their poll
And
book
it's written
with the
real
most
good.
current information.
so this is a task the election clerk at the polling location.
It's supposed
Has
to
to
do.
doing.
It's supposed to do.
And then sometimes they think their MiFi's up and it's not up because it looks like it's up and it takes a while. And then they're saying, no, we can't get this. You know, they think they're online and they're not online. And then some places the MiFi doesn't pick up. And that was the thing that I really wanted to work on with the clerk's office to say, what places does a MiFi, will it not work? Because if it's not gonna work, we might need to designate places that have paper poll books. They may need to, you know, because, I mean, we can't help the connectivity of a polling location.
And I've seen the little instructions that come with the poll books when I've been out at the locations. I mean, they're very detailed and very easy, 1, 2, 3, you know, very easy to do.
Right,
It's
just
just-
have to do
You
it.
just have to do it.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we got a couple of issues.
Right, there's a
going.
training issue on for
On
the
our
poll
end.
worker end, but it's taking a lot away from what we need to do just to try to get those ready and
On our
prepared
polling.
every election.
And we also need to figure out something from phones. But this is something on our phone situation that we used to always give flip phones. That's another thing. So, but I'm thinking, well, the poll books, the phones, the equipment, the phones take forever to program too.
So,
you know,
but-
so-
But we're set for the 9th
Mhm.
with all the
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
books.
Yes, everything's been delivered and is out there for the night.
And so when you collect all this stuff and our collectings from the Tuesday's election, and you still have those poll books out at the warehouse. So this is what we will give back to the clerk for them to secure. Or come to some agreement, a suitable agreement about where it goes. Interesting. We're so glad you're here. And I really want to say, we're not trying to, give the clerk's office a hard time because they work hard and are
Mhm.
probably
And-
understaffed too, but.
And that's one of their, with having all the paper books and then the
Yeah.
electronic books, because they're double doing, but something's got to be.
Yeah,
Those
I mean,
books are not simple.
Yeah, I don't think the powers that be at the top, like us, or the powers that be at the clerk's office, were aware of that agreement made by both of their previous employee and our previous leadership team. So now we know.
And there is one more thing, but it doesn't, it's kind of good. So
It's like-
I'm going. So I happen to, we have updated the website for the redistricting
Okay, that's
information
good.
and the meetings. That's good. And we have, Pulaski Regional in November, on the 12th, we're doing here that evening at 5. Then we're doing Thompson Library November 13th at 10:30. And then Bill Harmon Recreation Center November 13th at 1:30. And this is posted on our site. We've posted the redistricting email for people for the feedback for, and we have added to the site that we do need their full name and address. Pulaski County address is what I listed so that, for the input. And so I've got that posted, and calling around, I called Wrightsville, and I called the City Hall, and I had said, well, I know City Halls are not open on Saturday,
Yeah.
but they were I talked to the mayor, Talon Loring, and he said, oh wow, we have a city council meeting on the 16th. It's on a Tuesday,
Okay.
and it's at 7.
Okay.
And they said we would love for them to come here because he said they have people there,
Okay.
that and
Where
so
I
in
can't,
Wrightsville.
Right.
I can't make it
Okay.
on the 16th. I have a conflict.
I mean, I'm open to do
But
that.
y'all can go.
Is that okay?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, because
I think that
I know that's an area that gets kind of left out.
and he
I
said
I can make it.
Okay, I'm going to talk to another group of public
and he said I let him know.
Do you
I
have one of
said-
those, at the baseball games where they have your person? Can we bring one and set it there? What do you
So-
call that? The little
Oh, yeah.
cardboard cutouts?
Yeah.
Cardboard cutout.
Cardboard cutout?
Where
I think that'd be
at their-
great.
Wrightsville
though, if we
City
could get it out
Hall.
there.
City Hall.
And I'll be sure,
To
David, to
your-
send
to
y'all
your there.
Okay.
information.
I was about to ask you about I was sitting there looking at the website,
Mhm.
so.
So what was
I'll
the,
ask you
so
about
Wrightsville, what's it called again? I guess you'll get us in.
City Hall.
City Hall.
Oh,
But
City Hall.
yes, and I'll update you,
What-
and I'll list it on our site too.
And I hate to miss it.
As one. I wanted to wait to see what.
Our time at 7,
What time does yours end? Could you call in?
Or-
No, I can't.
you're
I'm
saying
not-
they're having the meeting at
Okay.
7.
7. He said 7 for the meeting.
Okay.
So.
7
use
for our
website
meeting.
To talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, they may do some. They'll probably do their little introduction, and then
Okay.
Okay.
basically you'll be on the agenda, David.
Okay.
I should have said it that way.
What
You'll
was
be
the
on their
one at
agenda.
1:30 at 11:13? Where was that one?
Yeah, at 10:30 or
Harmon.
1:30. Bill Harmon Recreation
Where's that
Center.
at?
It's in
Sherwood.
Sherwood.
Oh, great. Sure.
And I have posted the addresses and the name of the places on the
Are
site.
you going to blast out an email from this office with all of that information going to?
Yes,
And they're going
I-
to give
the
it to
media
you.
and all that
Yeah.
stuff?
Yes, and I actually just got it posted today because I've made several calls just to do to
Sure.
get
We
the
really
30.
appreciate it.
And I want to get, I'm still looking at Jacksonville couldn't do it, they were booked. They let me know today, so I'm still looking at just,
We at Sherwood. I mean, that's
I think
That's what I was
right there.
thinking.
So,
and then,
um,
so that'll be.
It's going to be online as well.
yeah, we'll have the public comment online. So we'll
Mhm.
have that.
Mhm.
I mean, this is pretty good. We have the downtown. That's 4 places. So that gives
Yeah.
us 4 locations.
Right.
And I talked to MetroPlan, got an update today on the redistricting and stuff. Pages and them have been working together. Pages in the final review
Yeah.
stages. And probably Monday, I'm going to blind CC you guys, but probably Monday or something. If you want to, I'll give you Hans's contact information. And if you want to come in and see, he has to pull them up and stuff, so if you'll let him know ahead, that would be good. But if you just want to see what's what or look at anything, he said you're more than welcome, so. But he kind of showed us today, and they're getting all that. So I was glad that they were able to get it done for this, because that seemed to be a good weekend that we can, with the
Yeah.
holidays and all that, so.
Very
Yeah,
good.
I'd like that.
What are you grinning about?
Nothing.
Are you grinning? What are you grinning
She's
about?
up to something. Too much Mountain Dew today.
Probably.
I did have a cup of coffee, just a little bit.
You move on.
Yeah, I do.
No, this is excellent. This is
Yeah.
really good.
Mhm.
So, and we will put or add the PDFs to the site on Friday and get them on boards and easels and all that good stuff.
At the same time, not until we reveal them.
Right,
So how
right.
are you, is there, how are you?
Do we have someone put over them and then reveal them? Like,
And I didn't
or we
really
just,
list
I guess just
reveal.
flip them around, flip them around. We want to like build, the drama.
And then they'll
Yank the
they'll
cloth
be,
off.
Yeah, I'm
You
just
do a
telling you, like,
painting.
yeah.
yeah.
Order a cloth.
With a
Can we
sheet.
have the
Got an
painter
extra
guy
sheet.
come and reveal
A
it?
painter sheet.
Mhm.
A sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a sheet.
You bring in an old sheet.
An old sheet.
Each of the commissioners and I will bring in a sheet.
So there are gonna be four maps that we're going to reveal.
Ta-da.
And at that point in time, we're not gonna make a decision on which.
No, we're just showing,
We're just
this
gonna
is,
listen.
this is what they are, and just,
Okay.
here you
And-
go.
What I kind of gathered and confirmed, of course, with Christy, because it's a little different. It's good. What you're going to do is you're going to get all of the get input from the public on these 4 plans, and then after that, the commissioners, the board will sit down and
Talk about
and look
input.
and come up with
We can narrow
with the
down-
best
We
scenario.
can narrow
that-
down to one and then tell Metro Plans we're
Yeah.
gonna change
It,
this.
they said that if there's
Unless like there's
revisions
2,
or-
or you know what I'm saying, unless there's so much difference in the comment that we need to like do 2 and then we can vote or do something like that.
Did,
Yeah.
I know we had talked about early on of having the underlay of the existing lines.
What,
Or
so here's what I
something.
was
Oh,
asking, my idea of having a clear sheet of
Okay, so
lines?
here's the way
How do we
that
call
it
that?
will happen is, or he let me know.
Transparency.
A transparent,
And
transparent sheet.
they can give us the, so Google Maps
Mhm.
has the map files that you can put on top of Google
Because I want to
and
use
do it.
Google.
So we can have, it's interactive.
Good.
We won't, as far as the files being on our site, there's a lot, people have to know enough, and I think in order to use them, but, so we're only gonna put the PDFs on there.
Okay.
They will send us those, and it was really cool. He can click, like, so there's 4 plans, and then he has the current districts, and you can click one on top of each other, and click,
Okay.
and so I would like to have a chance to be able to look and play with those where we could get comfortable, because I wanted to see if we could use like our TV for a monitor, or that TV that's in the break room, because it's big, where you could use it just like a computer monitor or something.
Yeah,
I was
because
kinda-
the lines are, we don't know what they were to know
Mhm.
what the changes were made.
Mhm.
Would the public be able to access that?
On the files for Google Earth, I don't know to use them and stuff. Normally you don't, and I'm not sure how big they are to post. To use them, there's a lot of, you gotta have to have some comprehension on it. We may be tutoring a lot of people that I don't know I don't know how complicated it is.
Can they?
I mean, we could provide, I don't know how big they are. Did Hans say how big they were? Because see, that's what I
He just
asked. I
said
said,
that you have to have a Google account, Google Earth, you have to know how to put the layers on there, and then toggle between them. So there may be
A
a lot
learning
of
curve.
explaining to people how to actually get these files onto Google and make it work for them.
So, can they provide a big map of the existing
oh yeah, I already,
at the
yeah.
same time? with
I
this?
asked for the existing,
Okay.
the
I mean, I
existing
can't- You don't have an existing
'Cause we'll wanna-
full county on your website
labeled.
either. I can't find one.
We used to have that.
I don't know. It's just each district,
Yeah.
not the full.
They took
It just would be helpful. I mean, we're moving lines, but we don't know.
And I think
where they
I
were.
think it would be good to go ahead and get the current one up there.
Oh, yeah, I
Because it's
totally
up-
do.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And even, list, maybe, I don't think it would be too confusing, just say current JP district. Others will be cut, drafts will be whatever.
Yes, please.
you know.
I mean,
We
it
could
kind of
just
should
put
be
it
the
in the
background
front
photo
shot.
on our page.
Yeah.
You what?
It really should be the header cover photo on our page, the actual like county, not the city of Little Rock.
So I
Because that's
want,
not all that's here.
I want to delve back in just for 1 second into this poll book thing. Is there any existence of any type of written agreement?
Not that I'm aware of.
It wouldn't matter.
No. I just would like to see it. I'd like to see whose signatures are on it if there was anything like that. That's what I'd just like to look at it. It absolutely wouldn't matter.
That's public information.
But anyway, if you find it, I'd like to see it.
Good luck.
I think it was.
I doubt.
Probably
I
not.
seriously
I
doubt
think
it.
it's a verbal
Probably
agreement.
not.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That just surprises. No, I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
I hate bringing it back up, but I want
No,
to ask the
that's-
question.
That's a good question to
I didn't
ask.
want to know.
Because if
there
there
is,
was
I'd
such a document.
just like to see it.
Yeah. And there probably wasn't one on purpose.
I just want to make sure there's nothing else like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once we work this out with the clerk's office, everybody will be comfortable with knowing things are separated properly.
Mhm.
Well, statutorily, people do lots of things that they're not supposed to do.
Right, but,
In all kinds of counties.
yeah, but, I
And
mean,
it-
that's true, but you also, as far as the statutory requirements, you've got to, I mean, I plan on following them.
That's what I mean.
And
I
it's
mean,
gonna
this-
be brought
it's
to
very
you if there's
simple. This is
something
this,
that's
and
not.
this is this, and this is how it goes, and follow it, you know? But sometimes people have been doing certain things a certain way for many, many years in some counties, and that's just,
And, you know, it probably was just worked out with staff
Mhm.
that they couldn't.
I don't
and
think it was.
Give it here, you'll get it done, without really thinking it through in the proper perspective.
Right.
it's a really nice way of saying it.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this redistricting process. I don't think anyone else has said that.
Well,
I am, I'm getting there.
We are also very excited.
Well, I think it can be a positive process. I don't think it has to be a negative process.
Right.
I think we're taking a really cool approach to it.
Mhm. I like that we're getting out.
I
And
do
not
too.
just,
Yeah. Well, we want everybody to come to us, and then we're like, no one comes to us. So, we did live stream and gone to the people, and now we're going out to the people even more. So.
would it be appropriate to bring along poll worker applications to these meetings?
oh, yes.
Absolutely. Actually, if we could bring a tablet or something, so people could just sign up right there.
Yeah.
Bring
Then we
a
also
MiFi.
We'll also have to have them do the other application because the online application doesn't have all the info we need.
Well, then we need to.
We need
that's
to change
our
that.
second process.
Yeah.
We have a list going, don't we?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, that's another piece that.
Yes.
Remember, I don't know if you remember
I
us
just
saying that we
learned
would
that.
like to
I'm like,
know when
wait a
that
minute.
contract came up because we wanted to review how to get that application updated and
Mhm.
so that we don't have to do two pieces. That's
Mhm.
duplication of effort.
So I
It's
figure I'll
silly.
just bring the actual paper ones. That
Hey,
way we
paper.
have all the information that day.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that is something I want to work on. It's in that easy vote.
Yes, absolutely.
That
Okay.
we weren't,
What was that?
so we weren't allowed to train on the easy vote.
But Amanda's getting,
Well, you're
going to
getting
get
out.
us set up and
Yes.
we're contacting them after this to get
Yeah,
trained.
This is,
And we need to align that with how the rules are being promulgated as well to make sure that we're using all the correct language and everything else so that it's a good time to update that information.
What are you talking about? Easy vote.
The
It's
poll
a-
worker system.
The poll worker.
Okay.
I haven't
Database.
been
Poll
in this
worker
yet.
database
Susan?
/ inventory database.
/ payroll.
Okay. Who created?
Well, I
still have to
who
get set
created
up.
this database?
It's a company
Out of
called
Atlanta.
Easy Vote.
Okay. It's just maintenance.
Out of
Right.
Georgia.
Yeah, I believe they're Pennsylvania. Somewhere.
When I researched it, it was Georgia.
Somewhere.
I think the guy I contact is
Out of
maybe in
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, but yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to see if there was
I want good thorough training on how it really works and how it can work for us.
what the modules are and things like that.
Mhm.
You know,
Because there's really important lists and stuff that we usually use on election
Is-
day.
That could really be helpful.
But I used to always pull and.
right.
So yeah.
So it's got a lot of useful tools in there that we all need to be thoroughly trained on,
Okay.
not just a couple of folks.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. What else you got?
Nothing from me.
I think that is it.
Do we have any comments?
Already comments on the.
Oh, there weren't a while ago. Let me
Oh.
check again.
Hot mics.
There are no public comments on here that I'm seeing.
Okay. We need to do some huge social media blast. I'll try to come up with something we need something to push out about the redistricting dates. I'll try to make something
We'll push all
Pretty
that out
big.
Monday to get it.
maybe something kind of like design like that one I did with the balloon, the little boxes or whatever, on the dates and locations.
I think the quorum court's going to be the most interested.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
and I did
And send them
send
invitation.
I sent a distribution
Great.
to the quorum court. I mean, all of our county people in our office. I just put all this on there.
Well,
And-
we need to also send it to all. I mean, I think to any.
No, I mean, I've kind of just been updating them, and I just now posted, so I only did that, but we've got to get it all,
Yeah.
because we just,
You have a database of all the poll workers' addresses? They would be an entity that might be.
We can do
Oh,
a
yeah.
mass
notified
email
of
out
this.
of that to
Okay.
the poll workers.
You're gonna reach a lot more people that way.
mhm.
I think you should notify the parties. I think
Oh, yeah.
everybody. So I just want to make sure that everybody's included and has information. But I'll try to this if I have some time this weekend to come up with something and shoot it to you. And just we want to make sure the information's really getting out there.
And I usually have all those contacts, so that'll be good. Because
Yeah.
I've been, I usually have all the cities and the schools, and so.
And
I've been having
Nextdoor
to
is
reach
something I
out.
kept asking the previous folks. Nextdoor is a great resource. If we could go ahead and sign up on Nextdoor, we can really get some good info out.
And each of us, I'm on Nextdoor.
I'm on
We
Nextdoor,
could
everybody's on
we
Nextdoor,
could
push
post
information
something.
out.
You know.
People, I mean, I'm telling you, they will kill a fast food restaurant next door.
No
So
kidding.
they will also share information about something like that, especially something like this.
Mhm.
This is a good place to do it.
So in next Thursday, the 11th, is holiday.
Yes.
Yes, Veterans Day is next Thursday, so next meeting's Friday the 12th at 5 p.m.,
Yes.
which will be,
The ninth.
I may have to be out of town.
The
Oh,
ninth?
wait, it's the ninth.
The 9th.
It's the
ninth.
ninth, it's the
Seventh.
11th, Tuesday.
is the
7th.
9th. Oh, I asked him for that to be moved to the 8th.
Oh, the 7th?
Hmm?
Which?
To 8 p.m.
Oh, to 8. Oh, we can move that.
Did you not see my email?
I don't think I did. I'll have to look.
I asked if we could move that to 8 p.m.
We'll,
Oh, wait.
We'll be
we'll
here
change
anyway.
it.
So November 9th at 8.
Yeah.
Not to the 8th,
Is that right?
the 9th.
No, November
I know when you
9th
said
at
the 8th, I'm going, why would you
Yes, we do have a meeting on the 9th.
but move it to 8
To 8
because you
p.m.
guys had to wait, so.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I may have to be out on the 12th out of town, but I'm not sure about that just yet.
That's when we reveal the maps and have public comment.
Okay. I'm gonna do my best not to then, to be
Okay.
out of town.
All right. You'll miss the reveal.
Yeah.
The big reveal.
The
Are
big
you gonna
reveal.
send us an email with
The
those dates so that we can,
Oh,
if we don't already have?
And we're
them?
certified the second.
and I will be here on the 19th. Well, I may be here virtually.
What's the 19th? Well, that's that, oh, you're gonna be.
Well,
traveling.
I'm not leaving till like 4 a.m. the next morning, but I may be virtual.
Okay.
Yeah. So 8 p.m. on the 9th.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah.
5 p.m. on the 12th. It's just really important that people know that meeting on the 12th is a big meeting.
Mhm.
That should be a press release.
Yes, that should be a press release.
Okay.
Okay, that's all I have.
Nothing else
I've done
from
it.
me.
We are adjourned.